How many good years do you have left? Have you done enough cool stuff in your life? Probably not. Man, go out there and live a little. Don't wait.
Oliver, let me ask you a question. Take us into that decision day that my normal life is over and now it's time to do what I love. How did everything come about? Take us into that.
All right. It's not a decision day. It's a decision process, a pretty long one too. Yeah. So when I left my job, it wasn't fully voluntarily. There was like restructuring going on. I was killing it at the job, but it wasn't fully my decision to leave. But after 20 years in the company, I said, well, I'll do something else. That's fine. And because it came a bit of a surprise to me, I took 2 months to just travel. And I did we may get to talk about this later too, one of my coolest trips that I haven't even put into a video yet because I don't have any time anymore. But I went to Iceland for 4 weeks, just spontaneously. Went to Iceland, absolute brilliant of a trip, just to kind of clear my head and see what I wanted to do. And, by that time, that whole motorcycle thing had already been a passion. I had my YouTube channel and, was traveling quite a bit, by that time. So naturally, it was just kind of processing all of it and thinking of what do you want to do next? I was like, was pushing the age of 50 at that time. And it's like, what do you want to do? Like, how many good years do you have left? And how do you want to spend your life? And the longer the distance got, after all this riding, once you're out of that hamster wheel for a little while, it's like coming out of a fog or something, right? Things clear up a little bit, and it's like, damn, this was a pretty stressful job. I mean, I love doing it, but the stress and the pressure that you have when it's lifted, and it takes a while. It's not like to take a 2-week vacation, it's gone, but it's after 3 months, you feel like a weight's lifted up your back. It's like, okay, that's interesting. So do you want to go back to that and sort of rebuild? I built up an entire team there and a business and all that. It's like, do you want to do that again, or maybe it's time for something different? And so it was definitely not a day. And there are a lot of you guys may know, like, starting a business, and especially later in your life, right? Take whatever you thought was a secure job, right?
You're coming away from a consistent paycheck.
Yep. And then
to the unknown, man. And you don't know if this is going to take off. And of course, the wife, was she pretty supportive or was she worried?
I think she's more like a warrior. She was probably more worried. I think one of the best response I got from my son, he's half American, right? And so the way he's like, awesome idea, go for it, daddy, do it. That's it, just unfiltered. Like, that's what I needed to hear at the time. It's like, okay, it's nice. Of course, he didn't think about it, right? But the words coming out of his mouth was like, sounds like a good idea. Of course, I had a lot of self-doubt. Should I really do that? There's so many things why you shouldn't do it. And there's a few reasons why it can make sense. Yeah, it was definitely not a day. It took me a while. But, when I made the decision, I said, well, then let's go all in. And I've been doing that since the middle of October, not last year, the year before. So for not even a year and a half, I've been on it like day and night, literally.
That's cool. How old was your son when he said?
He's 16. He's 16.
When he said, go
he's 16.
It. Okay, cool.
And I bounced this idea off of a bunch of people, and just I've been in other types of businesses before, so I'm not completely going in a blue-eyed, and I know what it takes to get this also working as a business. So. But there's a lot of things you can plan for and try to figure out. But I think you just have to walk it. And I'm still in the process. I mean, you got me still in the middle of it. This could go either way. This could be the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I told you,
or it could be something.
No, you're on something, man. I told you when I reached out to you initially. I stumbled upon you. My wife and I in the evenings will turn on the YouTube and we will watch travel shows. And I'm motorcycle all the time, so that's how my mindset works. And we came across one of your videos and I'm like, man, look at these places this guy's riding. And I subscribed to your channel, so I watch your shows all the time, and I dig what you guys do, man. Europe is a beautiful place to ride, so it's for you to be able to do that scenic, and you guys do a lot of scenic, and I know we'll get into it as the podcast continues, but I just wanted to say that continue to doing what you're doing, man. If you have the support of your loved ones and you're starting to get the booking trips and making some money on it, continue doing it, man. Because like you said,
Thank you.
I'm 55. How many more years do I have a bike? Maybe 10, maybe So I'm figuring like, this is it. Like I need to do as much as I possibly can in this next 10 years. And it's good that you're doing it with your passion and chasing that. So nothing but success.
Before I do, you have to know that when I started setting this up, it was the middle of October. I didn't even have tours ready. I had my own tours that I've done before, but they're not the same tours that I ride with other people, right? They tend to be a bit shorter. If I'm riding by myself, they're really long tours, and I'm in the saddle for 12, 13 hours. It's not something you do on a guided tour. You make smaller packages. So I didn't have that. So I needed to do the tour. Didn't have a website. I mean, I had my YouTube channel, right? But I didn't have a website and no way for people to sign up. So by the time I was ready to even have my first posting, it was probably late November. So trying to get tours in, into April and the rest of the summer, it's really late in the game. So I partnered with someone, his name is Stefan. He has a rental company, and he had a very similar story to me, just with a year earlier, where he had a sort of a set job, and this was a side gig, and he turned this into a full-time thing. So he's been doing this now for the second year, and now going into his third season. So, we're both relatively small, right? But we're super agile. We work 7 days a week and around the clock, basically.
Oliver, looking back, the miles you've ridden and the lives you've helped opened up a little bit, what are the things that you're most proud of on this journey so far?
On this journey of like building this, I think what we talked about, I think helping people to connect is one thing. I think that's the ultimate thing, that people can connect, because that's hard to do just online, right? With my YouTube and that, you don't connect so much on digital media. People think so, but we're so into the digital, like having real moments and sort of real adventure and real things. I think that to me is the biggest thing. It's like seeing people go through that and having that adventure, having the ride of a lifetime, and seeing what it does. It's like they're happy even if they ride through rain. You get there, you're dripping wet, and you're still smiling and having a great time. That for me is the best part of what I do. Like by a long shot, not the curves, not the motorcycles, not that. It's like being with people and sort of making that possible. That's the best part of it. It's hard to beat. Best feeling.
Yeah. What advice would you give somebody who's maybe stuck in a rut, wanting to do something adventurous or step out of their routine? What advice would you give them?
Don't wait too long. Because the thing is, I don't, most of the people that ride with me, they're 50 plus, and like we said in the intro, how many good years do you have left? Like, can you afford not to do that? Can you afford not to do an adventure? Because before, we don't know how much sort of good years we have. Like, we can get sick, have an accident, whatever. Like, this might be over tomorrow, and you don't know that. So don't wait. And it's I have this, these like fridge stickers that my wife has a lot of those. There was one that really resonated well with me that says, especially looking at changing my career and doing this crazy thing. It says, I have it here. So because it's like, no more working to enhance my resume. From now on, I'm going to focus on the kick-ass obituary.
And that says it all right there.
Because for the longest time in your mid years, right, you focus on your career, you build your family, your career, and do all those things, right? You're in that hamster wheel to build up your resume, right? And then it's this moment where you think about, like, have you done enough cool stuff in your life? And probably not. No one's gonna talk about that extra overtime hour that they did in the office, right? Man, go out there and live a little. Don't wait. I spent more than 20 years as an engineer before I finally walked away to build a life around motorcycles and travel. I recently sat down with the crew at One Gang Worldwide podcast to talk about exactly how I did it. The best roads in Europe you need to ride, and why someday is the most dangerous word in a rider's vocabulary. I want to give a massive shout out to the guys who hosted me. They run a channel called Cycles Worldwide. They're a growing community doing something rare. They're actually shining a light on the real stories behind the ride. So do me a favor, hit the link on the screen or in the description and go and subscribe to the channel.